So one of the leaders of the so-called Proud Boys, a guy named Enrique Tarrio, was just sentenced to more than 5 months in prison. So does that mean federal prosecutors are done with Mr. Tarrio? Not necessarily. Let's talk about why that is. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So one of the leaders of the so-called Proud Boys was just sentenced to more than 5 years in prison, but he wasn't even at the Capitol on January 6th. This guy, Enrique Tarrio, was just sentenced by Judge Harold Cushenberry in D.C. Superior Court. That's local court in Washington, D.C., not federal district court in D.C., where all of the other insurrection cases are being handled. And we're going to talk in a minute about why Tarrio's case was in local D.C. Superior Court instead of federal court. But first, let's read the reporting that explains what went on in Proud Boy Enrique Tarrio's case. Here's the headline from CNN. Proud Boys leader sentenced to more than 5 months in jail for burning BLM banner and bringing high-capacity rifle magazines to D.C. The article begins, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio was sentenced Monday to more than 5 months in jail for burning a church's Black Lives Matter banner in December and bringing high-capacity rifle magazines to Washington, D.C. days before the U.S. Capitol insurrection. The decision, the sentencing, was handed down Monday by Judge Harold L. Cushenberry, Jr. of D.C. Superior Court. Even though Tarrio was not in Washington on the day of the January 6 insurrection, the judge said Tarrio's preceding conduct in the nation's capital undermined American democracy. And here is what Judge Cushenberry of Superior Court said. This court must respect the right of any citizen to peacefully assemble, protest, and make his or her views known on issues. But Mr. Tarrio's conduct in these criminal cases vindicated none of these democratic values. Instead, Mr. Tarrio's actions betrayed them. Now, as an aside, folks, I've never seen any reporting on why these boys have any reason to be proud, but I digress. Let's take on 2 quick questions. First of all, why was Tarrio's case handled in D.C. Superior Court, the local criminal court in D.C., instead of in federal court where all of the other insurrection cases are being handled? Well, what Tarrio did that got him charged was he violated the local laws of Washington, D.C. First, he tore down a Black Lives Matter banner off an historic black church in Washington, D.C., and he burned it. That's the local D.C. crime of destroying property. And then, a couple of days before the insurrection, he was caught by the police bringing high-capacity magazines, clips, into Washington, D.C. That also violated local D.C. laws. So the prosecutors decided to bring those charges in local D.C. Superior Court, where he pleaded guilty and was just sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. Here's the second question, and it's pretty intriguing in my estimation. Now that he's been prosecuted for the crimes that he committed before the insurrection, does that mean the federal prosecutors are necessarily done with Enrique Tarrio? Not by a long shot, folks. He is one of the leaders of the so-called Proud Boys, and if the investigation into the insurrection shows that he was involved in the planning, in the preparation, in the organization, in providing materials, in providing support, in assisting the insurrectionists in any way before, during, or after the insurrection, well, then Enrique Tarrio may very well find himself on the receiving end of a federal indictment. So the prosecutors may not be done with so-called proud boy Enrique Tarrio. Because justice matters. Folks, as always, thank you for tuning in to these Daily Justice Matters videos. If you would like to more formally support our all-volunteer efforts, our content, our mission here at Justice Matters, you can go over to patreon.com. You can sign up to become a patron. And if you do, I will send you some Team Justice stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks. And as always, friends, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.